Hey, Mark.
Hey, Sam, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, good, good, good. I see Christine is trying to connect right now, and seems there's an audio problem. Hmm.
Hey, it's Christine. Sorry, I got a call on my cell. I had to step away.
Oh, that's quite all right, quite all right. Thank you so much. How you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Well, good, good, good. I thank you for being here today. As you probably noticed, I've invited a Roy McShane to join us today, and he should be popping on here. And here he is, right here. There he goes. Here it comes. He should be showing up here any minute.
Okay.
So before we get started, how are you guys doing?
Busy.
And how are you guys? I know you've got a big restructuring going on right now. How,
Yeah.
how is that? How is that working out?
Still in the midst, working with, it's huge from a, reorganization standpoint. So still waiting on
Well,
information. We have some ideas about the time frame, but not a whole lot of details, about the who's, they're moving from 14 regions down to 4 zones, Mark. So it's a very, very large endeavor, and doing a lot of centralization of many of the roles into 4 main hubs, including Phoenix, Dallas, Charlotte, and the home office in Chicago and Northbrook. So
well,
a lot of work being done, and a lot more information on how the regions will be impacting the timeframes around same.
well, good. Well, I wish my best wishes and prayers are with both you and Christine as you go through that. And I'm sure being superstars that you are, you're going to make out just fine.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. At any rate, Roy McShane has entered the room, is in the house, and
Hey, Rory.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Where are you guys? Where are you guys based at in Maryland?
I'm in Severna Park.
Oh, right. I went to Severna Park High School. Go Falcons.
Very good.
I'm actually in Virginia, so.
Okay.
Oh, good, good.
Where'd you grow up, Rory?
So I grew up in Howard County for most of my childhood. Went to high school in Severna Park, and then after I left home, I had an apartment in Baltimore City for a while, and lived there until I headed west.
Very good.
So just a real quick update on Roy and why he's here. Roy and I, over the past probably 9 months, have been establishing a relationship, and Roy has an incredible digital business that I've wanted to become a part of for quite so many months. And what we've been talking about through Landmarks is primarily programmatic. And programmatic is just one piece of the puzzle. And I wanted to introduce Roy because Facebook, Roy brings in, not only does he have programmatic, but he brings in Facebook, Instagram, and Google AdWords. And that's the full package. And although Roy's probably not going to be on all the call with us today, I wanted to introduce him and let you know that basically I feel like that I owe it to my Allstate brothers and sisters, as well as you guys as team leaders, to give them the full package, just not one bullet, but the full package of what digital can do in the marketplace. And with that said, I'd like to have Roy kind of introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his company.
Sure. So my name is Rory McShane. I'm the principal of a non-creatively named firm, McShane LLC. We're a team of about a dozen people. Our clients range anywhere from Fortune 500 companies to United States senators, so on and so forth. What we're most known for, if you Google me, if you Google us, is our success in the digital space. I give talks on this sort of marketing around the country. That's where Mark and I met. Mark was in one of the classes I was teaching. We've won some awards for this stuff. What we're most known for, and why, and so we started out in the political area, right? And then we became very well known in politics, and then we started being hired by corporate folks. Very interestingly, in a transition that's not made a lot, and why we were able to demonstrate so much success with our corporate clients was because when you're running ads for a political campaign or a political candidate, right? You don't want to run ads to everybody. You want to run ads to just a specific group of people who are registered to vote, who are likely to vote for a candidate of your party, so on and so forth. A very small fragment of the market, right? So we started, after demonstrating a lot of success there, we started being reached out to by corporations who were looking for that kind of very specific micro-targeting. And I think, not to be presumptive, but I think that kind of relates very well to Allstate, right? We're not looking to target everybody with ads. We're looking to target everybody with a certain level of income, with a certain value of vehicle, with a certain value of home, and more specifically, and something that I think would be really interesting to do, when somebody, I know I've bought, insurance. I own a house, a truck, rental properties, all that stuff. So I bought insurance a number of times. I always go on, I fill out the little form, right? And then I get a call from an agent, 30 seconds later. Normally I get 50 calls from agents, right? What we could do is we could take that information that we're gathering in a lead generation field, and we could match that information to individual specific Facebook accounts. So I'm not talking about targeting everybody in Maryland. I'm not even talking about targeting every homeowner with a car in Maryland. I'm talking about targeting John Smith, who lives at 123 Cherry Street, matched to his individual Facebook account.
Can I interrupt, Roy? Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
And, Christine and Sam, to that point, with the programmatic that we were offering on the Landmark side, is that we could offer to put a programmatic ad on Facebook, but it wouldn't be in the feed. It would be around the side. And of course, within the feed is where all the power is. So anyway, that's one of the things I wanted to bring to the table for Allstate. So anyway, go ahead, Roy.
Yeah. So can I just ask? So so you're saying if our agents have leads that they're collecting from other sources,
mm-hmm.
you would help target them by linking them back to their Facebook and then feeding them ads.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's correct. And then actually we can, and I know that Mark is kind of going to advise you guys on what's best on the programmatic angle.
Hey, Rory.
But we can actually get much more in depth than that.
Sam, did you have a question?
I do. How do you get, what do you do about the confidentiality and sharing information issues that we have with Allstate?
So the data is all anonymized, right? So it's, the data is all anonymized on Facebook's end. And then obviously if we were to do business with you, our standard contract includes data confidentiality, which,
Could I interrupt for just a second? Sam, I'd like to understand what you mean by confidentiality.
Okay, and maybe Christine can clean me up here, but let's say, for instance, I give you, this is an intriguing idea if I'm understanding it. If I give you a list of 1,500 quote unquote leads that I think I want to go after, let's say, for instance, it's a downloaded list of people that I quoted, not sold. I'm just trying to go through the various things, or maybe it's just a sales genie listing of people who have homes over $350,000 in Anne Arundel County, and I give that list to this group. I'm just wondering, are there any confidentiality issues because of either? And I'm thinking out loud here, Mark. I know that Allstate obviously has confidentiality where we say we will not sell data, we will not do certain things. So I think looking at whether or not we actually are using existing customers, or I don't even know once we give them a quote if they fall into a different bucket. But my first thing that comes out is, like with the sales gene or other just true prospect group, is that how this might be able to be leveraged as I'm trying to put this together as how you would actually execute on something?
Well, the prospect group is, and I, like I say, I'm trying to pay close attention to your question, Sam, so I answer it properly. Well, if you look at programmatic, and if you look at Facebook and Instagram, or even Google AdWords, which is what the Roy McShane package is going to give the agent, we're going to reach that person because number one, we've targeted their device to be someone that's interested in a quote for auto insurance or homeowners insurance, and that's going to come into us because we've captured their device, and then they're going to be getting ads from they're going to be getting some Allstate ads that are designed by y'all, and I'm trying to understand where confidentiality would be a problem in that scenario.
I mean, I just know that the data that, I mean, Christine, clean me up here, but I know that there's a ton of different things when it comes to Allstate customer information or Allstate prospect information that we can't do anything with. So, I mean, that maybe I'm misinformed. But Christine, can you maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I would think the sharing of customer data would be one piece. We'd have to do a little research into pure prospecting data because that's kind of a different animal than customer data. I mean, from an agency perspective, I would want to make sure that those leads weren't potentially being resold, reutilized in some other way.
Now, they haven't become a customer until they actually reach you first. So what this, now, Sam, you asked Roy a question, and it was, if you've got an agent that's got 1,500 names and you give it to the Roy McShane company, and Roy, you mentioned that, yes, you could work with that. Explain to us what you would do with that list, and maybe through that exercise, I can get a little more clear.
Sure. So let me back up and try and address Sam's question first off. So this is one that, let me say, this is not a very uncommon practice, right? This is in almost any quotable in almost any quotable profession, right, where you request a quote and then buy the service. This is very common, and almost all of them have operate with data privacy agreements. But my agency or any other agency that you hire to do this is working as an agent of Allstate, right, in this project. So obviously part of the contract would be that, you own the data, we can never sell it, repurpose it, etc. But this is very common, and the way that that's addressed is the agency that you hire is working as an agent of Allstate. So this is not, sorry, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, yeah, okay. Again, I don't want to I just, that's something that I know, again, would just, it sounds like then it's a non-issue, but obviously it would need to all be vetted. But I appreciate I don't want to get too far off kilter with that. Thank you for addressing.
Totally understand. So back to Mark's question. So we would take this file, right, and we would match this to individual Facebook accounts, individual Instagram accounts. We could also, if we go a step further, match this to home IP addresses. So we serve ads to the router. So any device connected to that router will get our ads, right? So if you're sitting, so if you're on your phone connected to your home Wi-Fi, which we've previously matched back to your home address, then you're getting our ads as well. So kind of once we have one match, we can swarm your world.
Thanks.
Okay. Now, and then the other piece was Google AdWords. Like for instance, with Amy, when Amy finishes her contract up with Landmarks, I will talk with her about how I'll go over and sit down with her and go through it and see how that went. And assuming that Amy wants to continue with digital marketing, I'll present her with a Roy McShane package, which will not only be programmatic, but it'll also include the Facebook feeds, the Instagram feeds, and also Google AdWords. Roy, would you explain Google AdWords just kind of in short?
Sure. Google AdWords is actually a very simple platform. Very basically, we're looking to own specific keywords, right? What I would suggest is that we focus on what are called long tail keywords. The reason being is, cheapest insurance is too popular of a keyword. We're not going to win that unless we're willing to set some really, really high AdWords budgets. But if I looked for like best insurance policy, Anne Arundel County, Maryland, right? Those might be terms that we can win. Generally speaking, the longer the keyword is, the cheaper it is to earn a first position there.
So
Yeah, go
are
ahead.
you talking like paid search here?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So just so you know, we'll have to provide you with our agents have restrictions on what they can do in the paid search space and what they're allowed to bid on.
Of course, absolutely. But generally speaking, the longer the better and the more success you'll have. And then there's a very specific art to making your ads inviting to click on, right? Using the right amount of call outs, taking up as much space on the page as possible, all that sort of stuff. And the beauty of paid search is that so if we dominate the first two paid search results, we dominate the entirety of someone's mobile screen, and more than 2/3 of people do all their searching on mobile. And it's like 76% of people cannot tell the difference between a paid search result and an organic non-paid result. So if you search for, best homeowners insurance policy Anne Arundel County, and the first two things you see are all state agents paid search results, most people cannot tell that that's actually a paid search result and not a, what was I going to say, and not an organic ad.
Okay, so, all right, so at any rate, Sam and Christine, I wanted to have Roy on in the beginning part of our meeting, just so you could get a chance to meet him. I wanted to make sure we got the Facebook, Instagram, and Google AdWords piece introduced to you, because we want to make sure that that's included as we move forward. And I know we have other things to talk about here. Before I let Roy go, do y'all have any other questions for Roy?
No, I think thanks. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I mean, I think it has some value for sure.
Awesome. Well, hope we
Rory,
I appreciate you guys. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
I do have a question. So let's say someone goes, all right, let's go ahead and give this a shot, and we want to go and drive, in a pilot standpoint, we want to drive homeowner sales or homeowner leads. Mm-hmm. What's the turnaround time to get something like this thing truly up and going with 30, 40, 50 agencies that just from a standpoint of and then about what would be the cost of maybe just a basic program that wouldn't be the swarm, maybe just a minor attack.
Great. Two great questions. So really your cost in this, Sam, is labor. It's not actual ad spends, because we have to go manually match 30 or 40 different lists. And then here's really the cost is we have to do it regularly, right? Because if someone requests a quote on a Friday, we can't wait until next month to start pushing ads to them. We want to have ads pushed to them by, at latest Sunday. But just, broad strokes purposes, I would say that, each agency needs to be prepared to spend $2,000 to $3,000 on actual ad spend. That'll deliver between 10 and 20, completed views of a 3+ second ad. In a relatively high density. And then what we would need to do is we would need to build out a labor cost for this, which would pay for my team or any other team to physically go in, pull those lists from your agents, match them to the social media accounts. And I imagine there would be some economies of scale there, right? So if we said, okay, we're going to do this with 30 agencies, the price per would be better than if we were going to do it with 3 agencies, right? So
yeah, I would see us giving you just lists, Excel lists of the data. I wouldn't see you guys pulling anything off of the agency's systems at all.
Absolutely. But and I don't know your business, so correct me if I'm wrong, but my assumption, Sam, is that those lists update relatively frequently, correct?
I think they have to update every 90 days.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I apologize. That's okay. So we got a little more time there than I thought. Okay. So thinking about that, the labor cost would be much less. So I would estimate that we could probably do a minimal run of this test for, I mean, south of $10,000 for sure. Probably in the $7,500 range. I think we could cover our labor costs, and we could have an aggressive enough test here to hopefully demonstrate some efficiencies to you.
Now, Rory, explain to me. I'm hearing you say around 75,000. And
7,500. So yeah.
sorry, so 7,500. Is that 7,500 per agent, a one-time cost?
So I worked off of the 1,500. I worked off of the 1,500 number, right? So if 1,500 is the amount per agent, then yes, that would be 7,500 per agent. We could probably get that, like I said, a little lower with some economies of scale. If it's a total of 1,500 leads, then no, I would think. So broad strokes, I think 7,500 would adequately attack one list of 1,500 leads.
Okay, and over what period of time?
A month. I mean, if we're serving 10 to 20 qualified video views, I'd want to do that in, no more than 20 to 30 days.
So if I can get just the metrics, we send you 1,500 names, you do the match, we start keying up the ads. We anticipate that would cost 7,500 and we get 10 to 20 views
per person. Yes.
What was 10 to 20 years? Well, I didn't understand.
No, I'm sorry, views. 10 to 20 what are called qualified video views. So I'm a big believer in video content, right? So I would want all of our I would want somebody to watch an ad 10 to 20 times inside the space of one individual ad campaign.
Okay, so now my next question to Sam and also to Christine is if we're going to talk to an Allstate agent and say, okay, we've got a program that's going to cost you around $7,500. It's going to be a 30-day campaign. You're going to provide us 1,500 leads. It's going to be in video, which, by the way, video is twice the price of digital. Am I correct with that, Rory?
That's a tough thing to say. It's twice the price of display digital. Yes.
Okay. So keep in mind what Rory's talking about. He's talking about, an actual video ad that's going to be clicked. What about the affordability of that? Sam and Christine, and I know you're talking to other people, what Rory is giving you, what affordability for the agent?
I mean, Sam can speak to it as well, but that's a pretty big price tag for most agencies. There are some that are extremely digitally savvy that might bite at the opportunity, but I mean, we run our own internal digital campaigns for them where they're out of pocket is $750 and we struggle to get participation. So
that's $750 a month, right?
No, $750 total.
Total.
For a 3-month campaign.
Right. And also I had an Allstate agent send me this. I know there's another digital company that y'all got that's already a pre-approved, maybe it's a nationally pre-approved vendor. And the numbers I was seeing for digital, it appeared to be digital work was, like 750, 1,500 type of stuff. Are you familiar with which one that is?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that you're referring to?
Yeah, probably. Okay,
so what I'm hearing you say is that you're offering the agents a digital opportunity that's $750, and you're not getting much. You're not getting many people wanting to do it.
Yeah, not a huge volume. I think we've probably sold about 200 of those this year, but some of them are repeat buyers. So there's some agencies that like that consistency in market, so have upped it. But
let me really quick, I don't know if this is helpful. I mean, I will say, I don't think there's anything that we could do at a $750 price range that would be useful. But if we can, again, economies of scale, if we can sign up, let's say 20 agencies to participate in this, we can probably move that price range from 7,500 much closer to 5,000. And I think still achieve similar results.
Yeah, and what we're offering on our packages are, it's apples to oranges. It's not the same thing that you're doing, so it's just a different concept. But it's a matter of, positioning it and letting the agencies know exactly what they'd be getting and how it would be working.
So let me ask you, Christine, another question. Obviously, the ages, there's a price sensitivity there, and then of course we want to sell them this particular product that Rory's talked about, which is obviously the Cadillac of the products. Where is the price line? Like, if I've got somebody on unemployment insurance, I'm not going to take them down to, an Acura dealership or to Jaguar dealership. I'm going to have them in a used car lot somewhere, at used cars. What's the price? Like, the real question is this type of product, this programmatic, Google AdWords, Facebook, Instagram, is this a product that the Allstate agent, is it within their reach to actually be purchasing this?
Yeah, and Sam can chime in on this as well. I'd say there's a segment of our agents that it's probably perfect for. It's just a matter of marketing it to the right group. There's a lot that really have barely any digital presence beyond what the company provides for them. And so really these type of things, when they don't even have a strong Facebook presence, are not probably a great idea for them.
Got it.
I don't know, Rory, would you agree?
I would. Having said that, though, the answer is not, and again, I've never sold insurance in my life, so I don't know your business, nor do I presume to. But I would say the answer to them is not, okay, cool, this isn't a good fit for you. It's, you need to get a strong Facebook presence. You need a functioning website. I mean, world commerce is moving online, right?
Oh, you're preaching to the choir.
Right.
I just gave that same spiel yesterday, right, Sam? Or was that yesterday?
Every day. No, and I mean, and to the point, I mean, there is a subgroup that would make sense for, but it's like anything else, whether like your analogy on the Cadillac, or the Acura. I mean, listen, this is digital optimization is where, as an industry, and especially in the COVID environment, we need to continue to encourage our agencies to go. This what you're offering, I think, sounds phenomenal, but for a subset group, right? I mean, this would be something that would be a 301 level, college course versus an entry level type thing. So I think that's kind of where the more we learn about it, and then if there is a way that we would want to maybe approach a subset with a pilot program, I mean, that, just so we get a better feel for it. And maybe it is, like you've already done, Mark, with some of the folks that you've already been engaged with, to go, okay, is this the next iteration of what you've already talked to some folks about on whether or not, hey, it did work well, how do we take the next level, or maybe it did not work as well as initially planned, and this can provide a little bit more of a surround sound opportunity for them.
Right, and I'm going to switch the pitch right now to the hiring side. So we've been talking mostly about the Allstate agent, but what about the field sales leader and their counterparts with Kevin Troutman? How does this sound in that environment?
I think there's probably a lot of potential utilization on this. I think that right now, from where we started the conversation, I think that there's a lot of who owns that and where does it go as we migrate away from this regional structure that we're in.
Right, because the regional structure is going to change a lot of things. So
exactly. So I mean, if this is where it's also going to change the roles of the field sales leaders to a degree, right? You'll
Right.
probably have, so that's still some of those unanswered questions, as I was alluding to before. But I do see, the potential of this really being something that could, be beneficial. It's just a matter of where does it reside and who owns it. And right now, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, Rory, I thank you for your time today. I'll be back in touch with you later on this. And
Sounds good.
that'll give Christine and Sam and I about 10 minutes to wrap up our.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Rory.
All right. So the main reason for our meeting today was to talk about Amy's numbers. And I've got them right here, and also about the link that we're using. Sam, did you get a chance to talk to Christine about the link when we talked?
Yeah, we did talk about the link. As long as it's linking to her website,
Right.
we're good.
Okay, that's what it's
We're
doing.
talking like a digital display ad, and they click on it and it links to her quote page.
Okay, that's exactly what we've done.
Yeah.
So, and then the other piece was, Sam, you asked about a month by month. And on Amy's auto, the first 30 days, she got 45,634 impressions. There was 109 clicks, and the click-through rate was 0.24, which is pretty good. And then it dropped down the next month to 33,066 clicks and a 0.20. And then the following 3 months was the third month was 35,498 with 73 clicks and a 0.21 click-through rate. And so what's happening here is that this is where we need to go in and redo our artwork, which I talked to Dan, and I believe Dan has already redone that. And her homeowner's side reacted a little differently. The first 30 days on her homeowner's side, she had 46,000 impressions, 101 clicks, and a 0.22 click-through ratio. But the next month, the impressions dropped to 34,000, but she had 82 clicks, which gave her a 0.24 click-through rate. Well, it actually went up a little bit on the click-through rate. So those are her numbers on that. Is there any questions on that?
No. What's her feedback on the success of the program?
I talked to her 2 weeks ago, actually before we were supposed to have our last meeting. She didn't, she wasn't raving about it. She wasn't complaining about it. I think she was, this has been a good service for her. We've been, we've been driving a lot of clients to her, to her to do quotes on. Now, as I've talked before, I can't give you a list of the people that actually called her. It's kind of like the boat with all the fish, and then we drive the fish around the boat and all that. So what my plan is with Amy is when she finishes this particular campaign, I'm gonna go see her or do a Zoom meeting with her and see, what she thinks about it. And if she's interested in doing another campaign, I'm going to switch her over to the Roy McShane campaign, which I think is better because that's going to include the Facebook, Instagram, and Google AdWords, as well as the programmatic. Or she can just stay with the programmatic and do what she's doing now. And, maybe I can even get the price down a little bit for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are you going to send us the copy of the measurements for her campaign so we have them, or?
Well, I did that. I'll resend them to you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, I did that. And then if there's any other questions on this, I have a couple things I want to close up with. But are there any other questions on Amy?
No, but if you could resend that, that'd be great. I don't see where that. I don't see. Oh, there it is. I see it. You sent it on the 7th at 8:05 p.m. Okay, Christine.
All right, I can find it.
It's okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay. So, at any rate, I just wanted to let you know that I am I've talked with Kevin Wolfgang a few times about the scalability to do this with Allstate. And both times he's told me that at this particular juncture, he doesn't have the employees on hand to do the scale that is going to be needed. And that's the reason I've reached out to Rory. So I just want you to know that I'm going to be ending my relationship with Landmarks, and I'm going to be working with Rory to continue this business that we've been talking about for a year. I don't know. There's some other reasons that I'm going to be doing that. I'm not officially going to talk about those. But in the future, if you get an email from me and it's not my Gmail account, you mostly get my Mark McCluskey 1 at Gmail. If you get an email from me and it's not that one, it's not me.
Okay.
Because I know that Kevin may be trying to reach out to you using my email. So just be aware of that. Like I say, I am going to, as of really today, I'm, all our meetings moving forward, I'm going to be using Rory. And furthermore, if I see that Rory and his team aren't up to snuff on things that we're trying to do, as I said before, my loyalty is to you, Sam, and to you, Christine, and my loyalty is to my Allstate brothers and sisters. And so so really everything we're talking about is really about me making a good platform. So if I find that I need something else, I'll reach out to another company that I've already studied and worked with for months and months to make sure that we're delivering the right package.
Appreciate that.
So what is, so I don't need to resend the Amy's numbers. What is my next move with you guys?
I guess I would ask for sort of a summary of what we talked about with Rory, as far as what, kind of make it just where it's very simple for us to go, hey, here's the suite of products or the suite of marketing activities that can be engaged with.
Okay.
Just so we have a little bit more around that. And I guess, my one, and maybe even a demonstration of what it looks like. Okay. Would be helpful as well. To me, just so I get a little bit more context around it, that would be like if he goes, hey, go out to this site, or here's a video demo or whatever that would show it, would be helpful to me.
Okay, so a review on what we talked about today, and then a demo.
And yeah, even if that's just something that they already have recorded, I haven't tried to go out onto his website if there's anything, but yeah, just something to kind of get an idea of, hey, if you sign up, here's what it looks like when you're out on Google or on Facebook, and here's sort of, it in action would be helpful.
Got it. All right. I'm on it. Hey, thank you guys a million times. And my hopes and prayers and best wishes as you go through this. Probably Allstate's never, I don't think this is the biggest transition Allstate's made in, I don't know, maybe since 1931. It sounds big.
It is big.
It's pretty big.
So I wish you both well with the transition. I know September is going to be a big month, and I will be back in touch with you within the next week or so.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks, you, sir.
Mark.
Thanks,
Appreciate you looking out.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.